my grandma. I can't tell it all, stand tall, never fall. She would do whatever it took, put me to sleep with that good book. If I got out of line, she would just give me the look. Never did she raise no crook. She always gave, but never took. She was my bridge over that Bim Brook. So sincere, she was always there. Josephine, you still care, I'm right here. You taught me to love and have no fear. You taught me the truth and never be scared. You would always whisper in my ear, I'll we, I'm right here. Have no fear, don't be scared. You know I love you always. It's all about that love. That's all I ever needed. It's all about that love. That's all I ever wanted. It's all about that love. That's all I ever needed. It's all about that love. That's all I ever wanted. One another, love your sister and brother, father and mother. Never keep it undercover. Chill. Don't let the flames of the smother ignite that dime breed. Plant the seed to kill envy and jealousy. Water the seed to kill that greed and hypocrisy. Let it lead, smear the blood and let it bleed. Time to feed that half breed. Let them know there's a better place for show, for show. With that type right, let it go flow. Gotta let that love go. Go ahead and show the rich, the rich of the pole. Stay.
Welcome back to X-Rage No Justice, and I am your host, Kimberly Trapani, with All Consuming Film, the executive producer, and I am super excited to have public speaker, life coach, author of 3 books, and we are going to be talking about a couple of them today, and also 3-time TED Talk speaker and award winner. She's going to England with the Face of Woha. Welcome, Rosalyn Kahn. Thank you for being on the show.
Oh my God, it is so wonderful to be on your show. You are the greatest. I recall meeting you in the senior entourage, and we were connecting phone numbers and making sure we got each other, and God bless America. We're still together after all these years. I don't just drop people. I just stay with them.
And I appreciate your
time.
I remember meeting you, and you were so gracious to take me to Toastmasters and drive me to the airport to fly out of Los Angeles. A friend for life and a super amazing, wonderful business professional. I want you to know I appreciate your time today, Rosalyn.
Oh, well, thank you so much. What we do for friends is what life is all about. Thank you so much. And you're a go-getter. I appreciate the work that you've done with this show, with the world of film, and all your other accolades and accomplishments you've done as well.
We talk a little bit? You and I have known before COVID. We met each other. We met at the event, as you said, with Senior Entourage, with Helen Reddy and Marion Ross and Mark Rydell and Ed Asner and Charlie, the late Charlie Robinson. And a lot has changed in the world since then. And as you know, I want to talk a little bit about narcissism too today and gaslighting. But before we get to that, can you talk a little bit about what's happening in a few days?
Well, I'm really excited. In a matter of 5 short days, I will be getting on a plane and going to London, England. There's an event called Face of Woha. And for those of you who know me, you say she's the crazy lady. Every day she's at another place interviewing someone else. And what most people know is most of them just think I just do this out of my spare time, out of the kindness of my heart, but not quite reality. And but I do enjoy the interviews, and so they've recognized me for these amazing talents. They're going to be gifting me an award for my speaking and some other unknown things. I don't know.
Wow, good job. That's exciting to know a friend and a business colleague that is getting an award. And can you tell us a little bit about what the face is and what the award means and what the organization is about?
Sure. In a few seconds or less, the Face of Woha recognizes all sorts of women leaders from all over the world. They could be businesswomen, they could be doctors, lawyers, TV hosts, educators, people in every avenue, and they're all doing amazing, amazing things. Their goal is to inspire young women and leaders. They also have a Men of Woha, encouraging young men, but it's to get people and enlighten them. There's a young woman who's, I don't know if she's 15 years old, who's going to be on that stage and platform. It's all empowering people to be better and to be selected and chosen. You know, she was just seeing what I was doing and saw my post and just said, wow, you're incredible. I'm like, I'm just Rosalyn, you know, just who I am.
That's exciting, and you empower other women. And I watch you, and you are the face, you are the name, and you are super inspiring as a life coach, a public speaker, an author, an award winner. And I know you won awards before at LA Community College, and you're no longer there, but you have experience in talking about our topic, which is narcissism. And what do you think the difference is? You don't have to do a Webster's dictionary search, but what is the difference between self confidence, narcissism, and arrogance?
Well, you know, self-confidence is knowing you're good at what you do. It's just knowing in your heart that you're good, man. A narcissist is, you know, just can't quite get enough of getting everything out there. I had a friend who was looking on social media at an unknown person who does some work in education, and eh, having no wherewithal of what you show at any time, at any place, and so on and so forth. And arrogance is, you should know me, just get me to my table. I'm there. It's mine. It's just get me there. I don't care who you are. And I think that would be a pretty good breakdown of the three of them.
Perfect. And you speak on passion in your book. I got it.
Yeah.
Random acts of kindness are changing the world. How does a person find their passion, Rosalind?
Well, I think we all have who we are inside of us, and the problem is that we get so clouded over by everything that's around us that we can't hone into it. I was on a platform, and this lady, Bia Bakova, had said, you really need to do three things. Number one is you need to begin every day with meditation and closing out the world, because what we don't hear is our self-conscious. And our self-conscious tells us, you know, what is important out of there. The second thing they said, and this is going to be surprising, in this world of AI, when you go ahead and you ask your phone for things, don't yell at it, don't scream at it, add the words please and thank you. And it's amazing when I found, when I simply trained my phone, oh, thank you for asking me, Rosalind. That's very nice. And it responds in that way. And being able to be grateful, you know, I know that when we spend too much time or any time on social media, the views of what we think of ourselves and the world often goes down. So do what you need to do, limit your exposure, and remember to you know, just count the blessings of who you are three things that I think are really important in answering that question.
Absolutely. And you wrote this book actually the same year I registered and copyrighted my first script with Chuck Artisone. It's super inspiring, and you talk about purpose and passion in it. And what I wanted to know about the book after reading it, I'm going to quote your book in just a moment. But on page 11 of your book, Random Acts of Kindness in a Changing World, and a lot has changed since you wrote the book. We have COVID and AI and all of that, but I quote you, the keys to success are putting mind, body, and soul in the character I am playing. Bringing that person to life helps me win first place. Rosalind, how do you stay motivated in a world that's not so motivating?
Well, it's interesting. I was at an event last night, and it was the anniversary of the Nazi concentration. They said faith, love, and kindness. And if you always go back to those things, that when you are grateful, you change the trajectory of your mind. I know that when I get crazy, I go take a walk. And even if it's just me and my dog, it's getting out of what's bothering me. And, you know, sometimes I have a lot on my plate and it's like, but if you don't take care of yourself, I was ready to fall asleep before we got on here. I said, I gotta eat my nutrition. I gotta get those vegetables in. I gotta get those carbohydrates. I gotta get those vitamins in. And so many people who don't do the following fall asleep at the wheel. You know, they get track problems with their body and it doesn't work quite effectively, or they're take their head off at people when the smallest thing doesn't happen and it doesn't go right. It's just having that 5-second countdown of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until you're back to center, and knowing how to do that, because it's really easy to go, oh my gosh, you know, what's his name was on the platform and how many times did he lie on television about the elections, and so had this happen, and did you know the war broke out, and did you know how many people died? And I go to the health club every day and I don't understand what they're saying, but I know that they're talking about Israel and Palestine. I know, because their voices and their volume and the intonation, and I just stay a quiet person, and you just like, but I'm here to swim. I'm not here to argue. I don't have to engage in this conversation. We just keep doing the things that we do.
You talk about false accusations in your book, and you've been through a lot, as I have, after losing a sister to drugs and multiple sclerosis. You talk about accusations and when you had good intentions. And I believe we all have good intentions unless we're a psychopath. Can you tell me about the situation and how you turned it around from being slandered?
Well, it's really hard because we all know who we are. You know, if you just met me today and you didn't know who I was, and I said I've written 3 books, or actually 4 books. I've been on the TED stage 3 times. I've been a professor for 20 years. And then I said, and so if I've been on the TED stage, do I know how to speak? Probably pretty well. Written 3 books, I probably know how to write. And so at one point, I was awarded as the best teacher of the year. And at the end of the semester, I was told I didn't know how to teach. I'm like, well, kind of interesting. If you look at the platform out there, I've received over 40 awards in the last, 6 months and so on and so forth. And you can do one thing, you can take it personally and you can try and go after people legally. But, I was asked the question, do you want to spend all your life savings going after this thing to prove that you're right? Or is there something else? And, listening to that inner voice, one day I just decided from nowhere, and I could tell you before this ever happened, I'd say, I'm not an artist. I can't draw. I can't paint. I said, let's get out a paintbrush. And I started painting. And very shortly thereafter, I got some recommendations and just priding, keep it up. You're talented. You've got something there. And it was the pain. And they say you paint from your heart with vivid, bright colors, and it just all comes out. There's so much happiness in that. And it's on those dark, dreary days that I'm really I go and I take up the pencil and you just focus. And I had a friend tell me, and I'll give you another analogy. You're displacing the energy and you're putting it somewhere else. So I talked to this guy, his name is Dr. Bob Choate, and he's going for his 3rd colonoscopy. And he said he's not going in for any anesthesia. And I said, how do you do that, Bob? That sounds kind of painful. He said, well, there's a way that you set your mind, and it's mind over matter. And that's what I'm doing when I'm painting. I'm focusing on that thing that I want. And, I look at myself and say, wow, gosh, if I was in the school right now, I'd be going ahead and talking about this. And what you see in the colleges is there are people who are talking about the other side and teaching kids and their vulnerable minds lies, things that aren't true, and adding to the diversiveness that we have in our world. And so I say to myself, maybe it was a 6th sense that the man upstairs had a better plan for me. And I've now moved to, I am now a substitute teacher. And imagine
Me too.
there I am with these little kindergartners who are so kind, so courteous. And they were playing with me and they were tagging me along. And there were some budding artists there. And I got to do artwork and learn Chinese. And I said, whoever would have thought? And the next day I was with the kids of IP kids who had a few challenges, but we got to cook. They got to make
That's so
nachos. And
fun.
it's like,
Woohoo!
wow,
This is so
they
great.
pay me to
So
do
many
this?
different cultures. Woohoo!
It's just like, wow, this is so exciting. And there's some other exciting things I can't tell you what's happening, but I go to Monday morning composers meeting and meet all these amazing artists and entertainers. I went to the Academy of Motion Picture Museum, and oh my God, it's inspired me of so many pictures. If I was teaching, I don't know if I'd be able to do all these things. So it's
Wow.
you got to tap into what's in there, and I've learned that there's a bigger and a better plan because I've already sold 4 of my paintings. 4.
That is super amazing. So
Yeah.
exciting. And I learned too, you and I have a lot in common. We both have a TEFLA. We both have teaching credentials to teach English to Asian or African or other students around the world. When we come back, I'm going to take a short break. It's going to be late today. We're going to talk about your other book. So stay tuned. In just a moment, we're going to dive a little deeper into mental health and narcissism and gaslighting.
Thank you.
I am Kimberly Trapani from All Consuming Filming, the executive producer of a movie company in partnership with Chuck Artizone. And today I am in Amazing Pieces in New York. And I have Amy. Amy is an amazing owner, and we are excited because we have jewelry and hats and scarves. And Amy, can you tell me a little bit about your company?
Okay, well, I love to make everybody happy. So what I do is I follow a lot of reality television. So whatever they have, I get for a lot less. For example, who loves my delicious slippers? I have them in all colors and different styles. And as you see, Kim is wearing a cashmere scarf with a beautiful red hat because yes, she is blessed. And then Kim, where are those gloves? There they are.
And we have jewelry over here and bracelets and gold and silver and some headbands. This is a very nice piece right here. And we have water bottles. And this one says blessed.
Wherever you touch, it's blessed, Kim.
And over here, there's pocketbooks. Look at, we have Prada. And I love this little purse, Amy. It's so cute.
I have it in other colors as well. I get things on the daily. I get lots of goodies on the daily. So this is just a little video of what my stock is, but you can follow me at AMYZING Pieces and come over here. I have the best hoop. There it is.
Oh, these are beautiful.
Hoops.
And if you want the hoops, you can DM Amy, and her last name is BERNABEO, and she is on Facebook and Instagram. And also, we're going to have Amy live on my show in the future. I'll keep you posted on that. Also, Amy has these amazing pocketbooks. These are good for travel and going to airports. And there's more, Amy.
I make a lot of one-of-a-kind pieces. So again, look on Amazing Pieces. That's my Instagram for all of my drops. I've got sweaters, flannels. come follow me.
Oh, I love this. Welcome back to X-Rage No Justice, and we are very privileged and blessed to have my good friend Rosalyn Kahn on air. Thank you, Rosalyn, for your time. And let's talk a little bit about your other book, and it's about the captivating speaker 25 tips to help improve your speaking. Is this a new book?
Oh yeah, it just came out in October. Just, as I was finishing up my teaching, I had to have something to inspire me. So I decided I'd jot down a book of 25 tips. And it's really amazing because one of my gurus I go to regularly said at one of my book launches, she said, this book has information that you will never find on Google. There's no other book on public speaking that has what's in this book because it's Rosalyn.
And you have the experience, Rosalyn, in Robot Stone and you mentioned artificial intelligence. And I find that clear and concise communication and that is honest is the best policy in business situations and building relationships. Do you agree? Even
yeah.
if it hurts someone's feelings?
You gotta get it out there. I recall several. I was in a conversation with someone about sharing a room event, and she sent me some money, and I was a little short of cash, and so she sent me some extra, and I thought, wow, that would be amazing but there's a part of me that said that's not honest. And I said, you sent me some extra money. Do you want me to send it back? And she said, oh my God, yes. And she said, well, thank you for being honest. And it's like I couldn't keep it. That you don't do that. You don't do that. You really don't do that because it's like you don't feel good. That's the way I was raised. Be honest.
What went into writing The Captivating Speaker 25 Tips to Help Improve Your Speaking? And how long did it take?
Well, my coach who's been with me for several years out of a group called Frontier Training said, Rosalyn, you've been doing one thing for 25 years, and that's speaking. Why do you not have a book on your specialty? Everybody knows about speaking. And so I was in one of those professional developments by David. I'll remember his name later. And he suggested that you could write a book of 20 tips, 50 tips, or 60 tips. And I said, I could do that. And so one happy, delightful day, I just sat down and started writing down these tips. And then we had these tips. And I'm like, well, you just can't have the tips. And so I thought about other books I read because I'm in a Thrivers group that has me writing down my 3 major things I'm doing today and making sure I do them, and my 100 goals for the year and so forth. And they said that you got to we go through a number of different books, and they all had these quotes and workbooks and question response in. I said, oh, well, that would be a good thing to do, is to have a response area and have a prompt for them to go ahead and do, so they could have a book that in that travel bag. You want to take Rosalyn's book, Captivating Speaker, so when you get on that stage, you remember it, and make sure that you've got that thank you note that's already pre-made, that you've got business cards, that you've got a note of your introduction, because they'll probably forget it. And don't forget to follow up in X number of days, because God only knows they'll forget you.
Absolutely and definitely. We meet a lot of people in the world. What is one of the tips in your book that you would want to share with our audience?
Well, one of the tips that I want to share is the importance of the famous word pause. You notice when I took that, you said, what's going to happen next? What's she going to say? Did she forget her words? No, a purposeful and intentional pause gives you a chance to recollect your thoughts, to focus on what you're going to say next, and to read the audience of where they're at.
Absolutely and definitely. And that could be carried over to situations where there's stress and people are escalating, and we may say something out of our mouths that we want to take back later. We just pause.
Right.
Absolutely. And also, I wanted to just acknowledge one of our co-producers from LMO Studios in the TV show that I worked on in Texas has passed away. And maybe we could just pause for 5 seconds and just acknowledge Carrie, who has passed away at age 43, and no one knows what happened. . 。  . 。 . . . . . Thank you, Rosalind. According to Wikipedia, the definition on narcissism is a self-centered personality style characterized as having excessive preoccupation in oneself and one's own needs, often at the expense of others. Some of this includes self-absorbed extremes and is paired with mental illness, including narcissistic personality disorder, and becomes pathological, leading to psychosocial mental illness. What is your solution in both business and personal relationships for mental health issues, gaslighting, narcissism? I know that's a loaded question.
You know, that's a lot of things that we've come there. And I think when you ask about my opinion, I always need to remind people that I'm not a doctorate. I don't have a doctorate experience, but I have my life experience. And there are sometimes professionals who are the best at going ahead and dealing with these situations because they have their knowledge. But
Yes.
saying that as the forefront, it's not a good thing to get in an argument and a heated discussion when these things are going on. Is to remain calm and listen to what they're saying. And I remember a thing from conflict resolution I taught many years ago, and it says that you need to give the other person the chance to go ahead and say what they have to say. And when I thank you for going ahead and sharing. Is there anything else that you'd like to add? Now that I've listened to you, can I share my perspective on the situation? And you might even say before that, let me see if I got what you said is right. Did I get right what you had said? And then say, well, let me, discuss my perspective on it. And it's kind of a give and a take and a back and a forth. And, when things get really heated, I think we should just take a break. Why don't we just go ahead and, go out, take a cup of water or something like that, and just take a moment off and take a moment away, because we can't get anywhere with the state of mind that we have right now. Just keeping a calm mental attitude. And there's always someone else that you can call to bring into the situation, that you can get to help you, because we're not islands on our own. And one of the big problems of the world of mental health is thinking that we can deal with it all on our own. And there's miraculous situations where people have been helpful because they took the action at those times and remained calm, cool, and collect, and called the people that they needed to contact.
Let's take another reference from your book on page 28 of Random Acts of Kindness Are Changing the World. No one can forget the wisdom of Steve Jobs, American entrepreneur, marketer, and inventor. In 2005, Jobs gave a commencement address at Stanford University, sharing his life through stories. His speech contained 3 lessons, and his lessons were connecting the dots, follow the passion, and find the love that keeps it together. How do you look to be successful, or what would you tell someone about being successful when we live in a beating down, unrespectful world? And what plan would you develop for them to mirror in this lesson?
Well, the first thing is to turn off television, turn off the news, get away from it. There's research that has clinically shown that people who sit down and watch television for multiple levels of hours become freaked out, scared, unsociable, and so on and so forth. Case in point, I talked to a friend. I told her I was going to England. I do not like bugs in any way, shape, form, or anything that has to do with bugs. And she goes, oh, did you know in England they've got all these bed bugs and da 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 da? And I went online and it said, There's one person who posted a video that might have got a few hits, and it's not a world renowned problem, and there are things that you can do, but she sits and watches news all day long. And so one of the things to keep ourselves and our mental health and well-being is to refrain from the amount of time that you watch social media. And I've even had people say, who are marketers, is spend just 15 minutes responding. You just spend 15 minutes. And I will tell you this, and I'm not a doctor, but there is clarified evidence that it is addictive, because when you get into it, oh my God, I got to respond to these, and I got to respond to those, and I got to respond to those, and I would stand up to all hours of the night. Do I really need to respond? It's like a good friend of mine, Lori Davis, gave me this line: the people who need to find you, they'll find you. They'll know what you do. I met a guy whose name is Brent Walls. He's an investor for different companies and different organizations, and he's not on social media, but he knows that I'm very good at what I do. And he's not necessarily on Facebook, LinkedIn, or any of those places, but it's the way that you carry yourself. So you have to turn off social media, monitor how much time that you have it, and it's not always showing each and everything that happens each and every day in so many ways. I mean, granted, Rosalyn is doing a GoFundMe campaign. You'll see it on my Facebook page. But when I get a person who donates money, hey, I want to celebrate this. There's 5 days and counting, and you might see more than you normally see of Rosalyn on Facebook Lives because she's excited.
Absolutely and definitely. Where do we find your Facebook page? Where do we find your GoFundMe page to fund you to go to England?
Right.
Where do we find these stuff? Give me your 2-minute elevator.
Okay, so my name is Rosalyn Kahn. My passion is helping people to tell stories to leave a legacy. I help people through creativity, creating those stories that are motivating, inspiring, that last a lifetime. The easiest way to follow me is, you see this name written here, Rosalyn. Last name is Kahn. You put that in on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, a little bit on TikTok and YouTube, and you will find everything that you wish and you desire. Coming up real soon, I thank Kimberly for having me on this all-consuming films, outrageous injustice that happens in our world. Coming up this weekend, next up is on Saturday, there's a book launch for the captivating speaker and another book that is called From Life to Death, 11/11 with Kathy Navejas. Sunday is the Cambodian Film Festival. On Monday is Kindness Day. And, it just keeps going. It just keeps going. And that's what you'll find on my social media as I go and I take a nap.
Absolutely. And you are smart, amazing, wonderful, strong, award winner. You've been a 3-time TED Talk speaker. You've been on my show before. If it weren't political and education, we would have full-time jobs. And we can't take it personally. And then we have the 50 million plus mental health disorders in America. Can you tell us what's next for Rosalyn Kahn? You've had major walks in life. What is next for this intelligent, strong woman I know?
Well, I see great things coming out of this event in England and Paris. I've had offers to do some amazing things with my skills of speaking and writing and so forth. I don't want to spill the beans, but that's one opportunity. I have some opportunities with my artwork, of getting that art. I have someone who's sharing it out in Palm Springs as we speak.
Is it a online too? Do we find it online? Can we see it? Can we
Yeah,
buy it?
it's just if you go to my YouTube, there's like I said, you got to follow all these social media channels because they go up on different places. If you go to YouTube, please subscribe at Rosalyn Kahn. I'd like to get it up to 500. And with all your listeners, we can make that happen. There's something in there for everybody: athletes, politicians, artists, entertainers, you name it, everybody and every ordinary person. There's an interview up there that's called Rosalind the Impressionist Artist, and you can click on that video and you can see what that artwork is all about. I just thank someone for sponsoring me on my thing. His name is Frank Graves. You go to Rosalind's Facebook.
Shout out Frank Graves.
Frank Graves is an amazing, amazing artist, entertainer, Academy Award winner. He was in the Marines, went through the Marines, and then they had a band, and he's out there doing it. He's an I can man versus the rest of the world who's an I can't. And you got to celebrate those I can man. So I had decided to, just show my different art. And so I thanked him and had a couple pictures I drew from the Academy of Motion Picture Industry. So if you go to my Facebook, you can see those. They show up on Instagram. They show up on LinkedIn. You can't always be on everything, so it's just too much to be on Pinterest. If I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, they say just do one. I don't know why I do 6, but we try.
Absolutely and definitely. X-Rage No Justice is a digital platform to the world. It gets to the world faster than any cable channel. And also, Rosalyn, can you tell me what's up and coming with you? Before you answer that, shout out Brian Connors. If it weren't for Brian Connors, who's a director who played opposite Kevin Costner in McFarlane USA, we would not know each other. Rosalyn and I have been friends since before COVID. And she is amazing, strong, and if anybody tells her different, they're going to have to deal with me. Rosalyn Kahn, answer the question, please.
Repeat that question. I was just listening to every word. I got distracted.
How do we find you all over the world, and what is up and coming? What are your next projects?
Okay, so you can find me at rosalinkahn.com, which is my webpage. And beyond this traveling, I would say that if you follow those, if you want to subscribe to my newsletter, send me an email. You can do that on my webpage, and you can find out the latest and the greatest thing. I would estimate something between training people for TED Talks and my painting and my substitute teaching. I also get this really cool job through my friend Anna Marie Buenacore. She's going to have me investigating, taking pictures of airplanes. Oh boy.
That's so awesome.
It's amazing when you parse-mail your things together. I know that I'm going to have some writings in the District 57 newsletter. I'm part of their International Speakers Bureau of District 57 through Cynthia Stott. I'm probably going to be on some more convention speeches, but I'd like to go out and speak in conventions and organizations. If you want to talk about how to overcome obstacles, I'm your girl. I'm your lady. If you want to go ahead and talk about how to reduce stress in our world, I've done a lot of that, and I can speak to a lot of that. How to manage the temperatures of change, the winds of change, and would be something for everybody. I was just out on the walk, and the lady said to me, "Nice to meet you. This is what I do." I was on a talk show. I said, "Oh, I have one coming up." And she says, "My husband is an unemployed, this, that, and the other." And I sat and gave her 3 leads just sitting there talking. I said, "Call me." And the reality is you got to call to get the goods.
The symptoms of gaslighting are making people feel bad about themselves. And you've been on TED Talks. We don't need to rehash that. We can see you on TED Talks on YouTube, correct?
Yep.
Can you inspire the world right now in 2 minutes?
Well, what I'd inspire is everybody in the world has a message. You have a message that's true on your heart. Someone gave me the path of take a picture and draw a picture of what does passion and purpose mean to you. So I looked at myself. I drew me with curly hair. And then I drew all the things I'm passionate about: roses and dogs. And there I was. So find some time to meditate for yourself. Look inside and see what you're doing. Don't think of your laundry list of what you're going to do today, who you owe money to, who you need to follow up with, what you need to do. You need to really honor that time of quietness. Honor that time of quietness that you can just listen to your consciousness. Secondly, find some inspirational reading. There's all sorts of great books out there, including my books. There's other books of, a woman who does too much, or Days with Maury, or many other books out there, The Power of Now. Just so many of them out there. Is find some time where you're able to step away. And the fourth and the most important is get a 3x card in the morning and write down what are the 3 things you want to do that day. At the end of the day, go down and write your wins for your day. And how did you do? Did you check off that list, or is that one for tomorrow? And those are my simple suggestions of how we can get what we want in life and do it calmly and collectly and help our mental health. Turn off the TV, turn off the YouTube, stop spending hours going on social media, and just manage that time more carefully.
Thank you so much, Rosalyn. And we find your books on Amazon. Is there any other platforms?
You find my books on Amazon. You can find them there. Do make sure that you go and leave a review. Reviews are what people look at. They're on my Facebook, and LinkedIn is really a good place to find me, and you can find the latest videos on YouTube. I just interviewed an amazing cantor. His name is David McCary, and I really have a compassionate, caring video editor who sent me 2 titles. Do you like one, or do you like 2? So it's nice to know you have good people to look for. If you want to get a video of yourself and your business, I can interview you, that you can have that interview. It can go on TV. We have a magazine that we're doing. If anyone wants to get their publication in the magazine, all sorts of stuff I can do.
That is so perfect and so excited, Rosalyn. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. This show, X-Ray No Justice, is on every platform and around the world. And I am myself going to be interviewed coming up here this weekend on having more compassion through suffering. Rosalyn Kahn, leave us with a quote, please, before we wrap.
My quote, my favorite one, is, you never know with the words you say whose life you can change. So always be open to remember that word that you say in the life that you will change.
Thank you so much. And if you want to reach out to Rosalyn Kahn, you can DM her or DM me, and I will get you in touch with this amazing, wonderful, strong woman. We have Flip the Script coming up. We have Funkalicious coming up on the show. But we are super blessed to even have Rosalyn Kahn for this hour. Thank you so much for your time, Rosalyn, and have a safe trip to England.
Thank you so much. And please note, it's Face of Woha. It has an A on the end, WOHA. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And check out her award, Face of Woha.
Thank you.